Ashley. I am going to share my screen. I have a decently short presentation, and then we will be going into Vendor Cafe itself to do some hands-on training. So this is going to be aimed more towards the vendors. I do see that we have some staff on hand. That'll be good for them to understand what the vendors have to do with closing work orders. So to start, why do we want you guys using Vendor Cafe? Vendor Cafe is a portal. It allows you to basically have a backdoor into our Yardi system. So you can view your purchase orders, you can view and close your work orders, create and submit your invoices, review payment status. You can update your vendor information, your remittance address. And all of our contracts do require that you use Vendor Cafe to upload your invoices and also on the work order side of things to close your work orders. So we've recently changed our invoicing process, and I just wanted to bring that up for any vendors who might not be aware. In the past, we had to have a purchase order received before an invoice could be submitted, but we have since changed that. As long as you have an approved purchase order and you have completed the work, you can submit your invoice through Vendor Cafe, and then it will come to us in central purchasing. That's where I work. We will review it for contract compliance, and then it goes to the manager for them to approve that the work was completed and in a satisfactory way. Once that happens, then your invoice will be cut. We are net 30, so expect it within 30 days of the invoice. So now we're going to jump right into work orders. That's what this is all about and how you can close those within Vendor Cafe. So there are requirements within your contract for work orders. I'm not going to read this whole thing because it's, contract terms, but completed work orders must be submitted into Vendor Cafe by 7 a.m. the following day. We want you completing those work orders in Vendor Cafe in a timely manner so that we know that they're closed. We don't accidentally end up sending more than one person out for work or whatever. The next big one, we require you to take a picture of the service before and after it is completed, so that any contractor's disputes can be proven. And we also need a date and time feature on the camera. So when you take that photo, there are like apps that you can get where it's basically a timestamp app where you can take a picture and it'll timestamp. We need those before and after photos to have the timestamp on them. So there's an old user interface and a new user interface. You might be using one or the other, so we're going to be talking about both today. So this is what the old user interface looks like from the dashboard. There are two ways to get into your work orders. They're both very clear: work orders, work orders. And then on the new dashboard, you have to click client profiles to get into your account. So once you click client profiles, then you see the work orders right here on the front. So all work at CMHA will have a purchase order number. Some of that work will also have a work order number. We don't use the proposals function, which you'll see on the next slides. All of your work orders will come directly assigned to you. So this is the work orders tab. This top screenshot is going to be what it looks like in the old user interface. This is what it looks like in the new user interface. We do not use the awaiting proposals or rejected proposals tabs. We only want to use these center two tabs. So your assigned work orders, which are work orders that have been directly assigned to you, and your work order history, which is going to be the work orders that have been completed. I believe it goes back to 90 days. So it won't show every work order you've ever completed. 90 days. When you pull up your work orders, it's going to be listed out like the below. It's pretty self-explanatory. The work order number, the property code or AMP, the property name, what the status is, which we'll get more to in a little bit, the priority, the category, subcategory, brief description, the call date. It's all very clearly marked. It'll be pretty rare that you'll have a purchase order associated with your work order, but if you do, it will be there. So there's a way for us to attach a purchase order to one work order. As many of you know, you're doing way more than one work order per PO. So it's pretty rare that we use that function, but that is part of this. So when you click on the work order number, it's going to take you to a new page, and that's going to show all of the work order details that you need. Again, all the stuff from those columns, and then additional the occupant code, occupant name, caller name, email, phone. Any of that information that we have to provide you will be there, as well as any access notes you might need. And then at the bottom, there's the vendor portion for every work order. This is what we really want to talk about here. So for a work order, we need you to change it from call to whatever status you might need. So there are 2 statuses that we want you to choose. If you can't do the work, you don't want to do the work, we want you to choose request reassignment. And then if you've completed the work all the way, it's done, nobody else has to look at it, we want you to choose work completed. We will also need an actual completion date and time, and any technician notes. So what work was done, or if you're requesting reassignment, why are you requesting the reassignment? If it's outside of your scope of work, your employees can't handle it, why are you requesting that reassignment? There's also the ability to do the photo attachments, which I was talking about. We want at least a before and after photo, if not multiple, just so we have that backup if there's any kind of. So it's to protect you as well as to protect us. So attaching photos to work orders, you can only do them one at a time, and you need to do it before you change the status. So if you're going in to complete your work order, we want to attach all the photos first and then complete all the other fields. So I will show this more when we get into the hands-on portion of this. But it's basically choose file, attach your first photo, click submit, choose file, attach your next photo, click submit. And then once you've attached all of your photos, then you would complete the rest of the work. So these are the statuses I was talking about. It's going to come to you as scheduled or call. If you can't do the work, request reassignment. If you finish the work, the work order is completely completed, work completed. If there is something like a parts pending or an on hold for some reason, just make sure you note in the technician notes why you've chosen those statuses. Ideally, though, you're either completing the work order or you're trying to give it to someone else by requesting reassignment. So this is an example of completed work order. The status is work completed. We've got our completion date and time and the technician notes. So the technician replaced the AC unit. It's now fully operational. Okay, so let's go out and look at some work orders. So this is that old user interface that I was talking about. Really. Ashley, can you just confirm that Vendor Cafe is shown? And not like
I see Vendor Cafe dashboard.
Okay, cool. I didn't have the border. Okay, so this is the old user interface. So like I was saying, work orders are pretty clearly marked here and here. And we want to go for our assigned work orders. So if I click on assigned work orders, it's going to take me to the assigned work order tab. And when I scroll down, I can see I have 5 work orders for the day. They all have different priorities. So obviously I'm going to want to take care of this emergency call first. So if I click on the work order, I see that it was a leak under the sink. I do the work. And then I want to attach some files. So I attached one image already. If I click choose file, I can select another image and click open. And then we would click save. It let me submit one of these earlier. Let's pick a different one. Save. It will want you to do a JPEG. So that's where I messed up. So now that I have my before and after photos, and you can change the description or upload a description here, so you can make it say, you know, before master bedroom, after master bed, whatever descriptions you want, you can put there. Then we would change this to work completed. And you see how all of these boxes change colors. So when it was in scheduled, all that it worried about was the work order status. It didn't want us to fill anything else in. It's got those purple box or the gray boxes. Once you go to work completed, these fields become mandatory. So if I wanted to say the work was completed yesterday at 1:45 p.m. and that the leak under the sink was repaired, and I have my my 2 attachments. So I have my before and after photos, and then I would click save.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh is right. Oh, I see. Oh, I did this the last time I did one of these trainings too. Oh my goodness. They're not going to let me fix it now. I have this problem where I end up doing this. Okay, we're going to go out to the next one. I apologize, everyone. I made the work orders this morning, not thinking when I just entered that date, it doesn't want me to make the date of the work being completed before the date and time of the actual work order creation, which is where that error came in. So let's do this again. Work completed. Not work completed because I have to add a tab. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we'll choose some attachments. Again, we have to do that one at a time. So we choose our photo, we click save. Data saved successfully. We choose our next file. I have here, click save. Okay, so now I have 2. Now I can change it to completed and then do my date as today's date so that it doesn't have this issue. And we'll call it 1:45. It was repaired. And then if I click save. All right. So now you see that that work order is now gone from our assigned work orders because it has been completed. So if we go over to work order history, you'll see that this work order, this most recent work order was completed. Okay. Go through another one, or I can switch to the new look. How about I do that? I will switch to the new look, which you can do at the top. You should have that option on your top banner. It's going to take a minute. So to get to my work orders from here, I'm going to first click Client Profiles and then Work Orders. And then again, Assigned Work Orders. And I still have those 4 assigned work orders here. So I'm going to click this next one. It's a city order for grounds pickup. You can see all the data up here. It's the same data as was in the old user interface. It just looks a little different. And then the vendor update, again, same data, just looks a tiny bit different. So we're going to upload our before and afters, our sample images, which it will let me use this type of file in the new. It will not in the old user interface. So then one and click save. And you see the attachments down here at the bottom. And then up at the top, if we want to do work completed, scroll down, work completed, actual completion date and time. Oh, they make it really nice on this one. And then I would say grounds cleared. And then save, and your work order is completed and it removes itself from your assigned work orders. Does anyone have any questions about closing work orders? Did I go too fast?
Thanks, Hannah. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.